Uh, Hello everyone, I'm Deepak Kapgate from Nagpur University, India. Today I'm going to give the presentation of hybrid EEG-based visual brain-computer interface systems and its clinical applications. So what actually brain-computer interface system is? Brain-computer interface systems are where the users are directly able or to convert their human intentions into the control command signals. Most of the time, BCI systems alone provide a communication path for the paralysis people or the people who are locked in state or uh, not having motor capabilities to control the external environment to enhance their lives or for their rehabilitation purposes. Out of all neuroimaging techniques, EEG is the most widely used due to its various advantages like low cost portability, high temperature resolutions, and lesser risks. Uh, uh, um, Out of the BCI systems types, there is a BCI system called as visual BCI systems. In these systems, the BCI system is only reliable on visual evoked potentials, just like SSVP signals or P300 signals or N400 signal or N170 signal. That means the potentials generated in the brain uh, by uh, uh, by paying attention on an external visual flicker. Now, based on the external visual flicker properties, the different type of potentials get generated in a brain, and that signals are then processed by the system to generate control commands. Here in this lecture, we are only focusing on non-invasive ease-based visual BCI systems. Other type of BCI systems are out of the scope of this lecture. There are like invasive things, the EEG systems, BCI systems which are based on MRI, fMRI, TMS, and many more. So, in recent BCI research, there is a term called as hybrid BCI system has been evolved, where two or more conventional BCI systems are combined in either simultaneous or sequential organization. In sequential system,
Ne
hello,
anlarım ne anlarım şimdi.
hello, yeah. Uh, huh. In sequential system organization of hybrid BCI systems, one system is act as a switch for the another BCI system. That means one BCI system is working, and based on the working principle of one BCI system, it is decided whether the second BCI system will work or not. And in simultaneous fashion, the both BCI systems are working simultaneously. That means, let an example, evoking two brain potentials simultaneously in the brain. That means either generating motor imaginary signals in the brain and simultaneously focusing on the external flicker to generate visual evoked potentials in the brain. Uh, Main goal of hybrid BCI system is to improve accuracy, communication rate, that is also called as information transfer rate, and error minimization of a conventional BCI systems. Now, there are various potentials get involved in a visual evoked potentials, mostly called as flash trans VEPs, visual evoked potentials, steady state visual evoked potentials. P300 potentials, those are basically an event related potential. Those are generally evoked in a brain with infrequent external visual or auditory stimulus. N400 event related potentials and N170 event related potentials. So this is what actually an overall working diagram of a BCI systems, where user is focused. The EEG electrodes are placed on the scalp of a human brain. That electrodes captures signals from the brain that has been set to the BCI system. Then there is a box of processing, feature extraction, and classification. Mostly machine learning algorithms are used for all these different tasks. and the command signals are generated to control the external command applications. As I have said earlier, there are different potentials. So one of them is flash TVEPs. These are the mostly peaks that have been observed when you are looking at normally in a movie, seeing a movie or something like that. These are most prominently peaks that are observed at N1 and N2 peaks. So possibly observed at 40 and 90 ms microseconds after the simulation onset. And there is also positive peaks, that is P1 and P2, generally observed at 60 and 170 milliseconds after the simulation onset. SSVP signals are steady-state visual evoked potentials. Those are evoked in a cortex in response to the external visual stimuli flickering with the certain frequency. So when you are actually looking at an external signal where the external stimulus is flickering with certain frequency, the potentials are generated in a base with the same frequency. Those are called as SSVP potentials. P300 potentials are evoked after 300 milliseconds after the attending audible stimulus. So these signals are mostly generated due to infrequent flashing of visual, auditory, or somatosensory actions. Then there is another class called as N400 event-related potentials. Those are generally observed in the brain as a response to the meaningful words in the sentence or the human faces. Those are having some emotional characteristics inside it. It is a negative peak that has been observed about 400 milliseconds post stimuli. So mostly when a user is shown human faces, that human faces with the variable emotional characteristics such as happy, angry, in brain with the variable amplitude and the latency. So based on that, the most of the BCS systems has their efficiency gets calculated. N170 event-related potentials. These are potentials generally evoked after 130 or 200 milliseconds after the simulation stimulus presentation. N170 ERPs generally generated as a neural responses to the human facial structures. So neutral human faces has the same structure. So what could be the possible clinical applications? So first one is establishing a communication channel for the people who are logged in due to neurological disorders, or and neuro rehabilitation of people after neurological diseases. Let an example, a person who is get affected with the brain strokes. So after brain stroke, some patients find it very difficult to control their motor movement, though brain is functioning uh, properly. It's very difficult for them to move arm or to control their legs. So in that case, an external visual environment where you actually generate an 3D environment techniques and create a visual arm, and by focusing on the arm, the human gets visualize or imagine their movement and able to generate motor imaginary signals with the brain. So which in result, after certain period training, results in the actual controlling of their own motor movement. So another is a locomotion restoration with the prosthetic motor or smart wheelchair for the patient paralyzed people. So most of the people who are not able to control their motor, there could be an application like smart wheelchair or controlling prosthetic arm, prosthetic legs, something like that. Then detection and diagnosis of abnormal brain structure and body abnormalities like EEG brain-based tumors, or detection systems, or identifying the breast cancers using EEG signals. So this is for another clinical application. The another one is sleep stage or mood monitoring. there are most of the applications where users generally need to control their mental state or brain state. Let an example: if a person wants to get sleepy, but due to stress or other factors, he is not yet able to sleep, then by monitoring an EEG signals and feeding certain amount of electric, you can actually alter the state of a brain to the sleepy mode, and then user gets got sleep. So this is what actually an possible application of mood monitoring. Manipulate an assessment of operators cognitive state to assess moving workplace conditions. For let an example, monitor an EEG signals and then adjust an external environment, just as room temperature adjustment or light adjustment, something like that, to maintain the mood of the user. Analyze the impact of workload, mental fatigue, and task time on EEG features. Most of the time, analysis of EEG signals will also lead to the detection of the workload, mental fatigue, and based on that, taking proper decisions. So these are the references. Thank you.